everyone, welcome. I'm Carrie McGinn here at Live Good, Feel Good, and I wanted to show you a little shoulder rollout. We're going to focus mostly on the back of the shoulders, upper trap, middle trap, all this fun stuff. I got a special request for this from some friends, so here we go. I'm going to use the Yoga Tune-Up Alpha balls because I just love them so much. You can use other sizes as well. This is just the size that works really well for my body. So the first thing we're going to do is go on a little exploration. And everything I do on the floor, you can also do on the wall, and I'll put up another video about that shortly. But today we're going to start on the floor. So I'm going to start with one ball and take it out of the little pocket. You can also use tennis balls. I just really like the grippy nature of these. So you're going to lay the ball on the ground and you're going to come on the ground. I will say for this one, I would put your hair up if you have longer hair, as the balls do like to eat it. So I'm just going to put my hair in a little bun. So you're going to lay on your back and cradle your head. Knees are bent, feet flat, and I just kind of let the ball land where it is. We're going to trace the whole shoulder blade. So let's eventually wiggle our way down. So we're starting at this meaty portion, the upper trap. So as you're here, I will cradle my head for now, but we'll add some other movements. You're just going to start to move around. Get into that meaty portion. You might rock a little side to side. You might arch your back and crunch up. Just start to explore how it feels. There's really no right or wrong movements as long as you can breathe through it, as long as you can stay with your body, as long as you can talk through it. It might even feel nice if you want a little more intensity to press your heels into the ground and lift your hips, and same thing. Roll up and down, side to side. It might even feel really nice to let your head land on the floor and just breathe, letting gravity do the work here. We'll then start to travel down the shoulder blade in between your spine and the shoulder blade. So it's going to require a little wiggling. So I'm going to keep cradling my head because that feels most comfortable to me. If you need your hands, you can as well. Just be careful you're not letting your neck drop completely. You keep your chin a little tucked. It's just going to be easier to move. So I'm going to cradle my head as I wiggle my hips, and I'm getting between my shoulder blade and my spine. So there's a bone here and a bone here. You're right in between. And I'm just going to go side to side, up and down, and I'm going to find that sweet spot. I also like to wiggle a lot like this, kind of like a fish on my back, or that's how I envision it. But I'm going to go all the way along my shoulder blade, that bony portion, and keep going down, up and down, side to side, wiggles. If I find a spot that's really tender, I'll breathe and hold. I might even cradle my head like this. I might try to roll onto my side a little bit. And then when I'm ready to move on, I just keep on wiggling down to the bottom, kind of the tip of the shoulder blade. And you'll know when you get to the bottom of the shoulder blade. It'll be right around, for me, my lower rib cage. I can probably even go another inch. I'm still cradling my head as I point here. And then this gets a little intense. You're going to roll towards that right side if you're on your right shoulder blade. I'm now cradling my head with my hands, and I'm getting into my lats. My bottom leg is straight. My top foot is giving me some wiggle. My left hand's on the mat so I can wiggle side to side. I can start to go up and down. And you might even just breathe here. This part can be really intense for some people. I'm going to move down an inch so I'm not off my yoga mat. But the lats can be really intense. Breathe. And if you can't breathe through it, we can always take it to the wall. You're then going to slightly turn yourself kind of like 45 degrees to the wall, keeping your right arm long, and you're going to go up the lats. So I have most of my weight in my right hip and my left hand, and my right arm's just sliding now. So now I'm going on the outside edge of my shoulder blade, getting into the lats, getting into some of those muscles on the back side of my body. Then I'm going to continue, requires a little maneuvering, to roll up. Now I'm getting into kind of this area where my arm meets my armpit, meets my torso. Getting into some of those rotator cuff muscles. My right arm still has very little weight in it. My weight's in my right hip and my left shoulder. And then eventually when I get to the top of my shoulder, I'm going to bring my arm back down, cradle my head, and roll across the top of my shoulder blade back to where I started. If you want to stay here on your side, getting into that rotator cuff, you can relax your right arm. Weight is in your hips and through the ball. And then you might do some rotations. This can be really intense. So only go here if you can breathe and stay with your body. I can't rotate back too far. It's too intense for me. You may even bring your elbow down a little bit more. It's a little bit easier for me. You'll do this on each side, and then I like to flush it out a little bit is what I call it. You're going to take a ball, both balls I should say, in a tote or in a sock and lay them like that. And then with one ball on either side of your spine, cradling your spine, grab your head, press your feet into the mat. You're going to roll just up and down, nice sweeping big motions. It's a little bit gentler, gets into the same muscles but on both sides at the same time. And then after removing that, just laying on your back, letting your arms come out, letting them rest on the ground, and just noticing how you feel. One side versus the other. I personally like to do that little check-in laying on the floor between sides as well, so I can notice one side versus the other. Have fun rolling out your shoulders, and leave me a comment if you have any questions. Thanks for watching, guys.